So Jalen Carter is getting sued. Eagles had to expect this. Nothing that caught them with their pants down here. This is how I would handle it if I'm Bob Lang, head of communications, and if I'm Tracy Rocker and Sean Desai and Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. I'd say all the right things publicly. Don't give him too much, though. Guard the kid. And son, you don't have latitude right now. Don't do anything stupid. Lock yourself in your room. If you have to have someone take you to the complex every day, we can't have any slip-ups here. You have no latitude. Hey, Sills, the elephant in the room, the Eagles, it's the new coordinators. It is. If you had a gun to your head, which is the biggest impact to return to the Super Bowl? The defense. Because Jalen Hurts is your offensive coordinator as he was a year ago. He is in control. I think it's Desai. Desai will decide if that team gets back to the NFC title game. Okay? I appreciate that, Ace. But just to finish this up, and we'll expand a little more on that. They better turn Carter into a boy in the bubble, only supervised visits. Correct. And if I'm Jalen Carter, I sound contrite because you have assholes in your Philadelphia media that will pick apart a comment that you make. We've already had it. And they'll try to make a story so that they can put themselves into the story. That's not journalism. That's yellow journalism. And most people are guilty of it today. Again, like I tell you, I'm not a journalist, but I did go to school for it. And I do know when I see shady journalism, and you see it daily. So what you do is you prepare them. Yeah, man. All I could say is I really would not like to comment on it because I've got my own situations that I have to deal with on a daily basis. And if they continue to prod, you just keep saying, I'm dealing with this in my own personal way, and I hope you give me space here to deal with it. There was a tragedy, and we're all dealing with it as families. It's the only way you can answer it. And you keep answering it the same way. What you need to do is go to school with Bill Belichick. Hey, there was a tragedy for a bunch of families, and we're all dealing it within our own way. And I hope you give us time to deal with this. And let it lay there. Because they're going to continue to do this now. And this question will be asked in training camp now that he's being sued. This is not a shocking thing. And by the way, let the courts deal with it. If you got to pay money, you got to pay money. If you don't have to pay money, you don't have to pay money. Your statements were made that weren't true, so be it. It'll come out. But that doesn't have to be in the public. The public doesn't have to know. And they owe you nothing. You owe them nothing of an explanation for a tragedy. I don't know why organizations and players think that you owe some media asshole an explanation. You don't owe them anything except good play and making sure you're a good citizen. Okay? Good people make mistakes. Sometimes tragic mistakes. One moment can turn a great guy into a awful situation. It happens to everybody in life. But handle it correctly. Okay? You don't have to answer and give these guys anything. That's what I would tell Jalen Carter. Don't talk about it. There's no reason to keep bringing it up. They want to bring it up, you answer it one way, every way, every time. Don't deviate. Tragedy for a bunch of families. I'm dealing with it privately, and I hope you give me my space, and I really not like to talk about it or expand on it. It ends it there. Okay? Trust me, Big Dom has already given Carter the rundown as we speak. It's probably what he told him. Dude, the more you say, the more you tweet, or the more you do, the more you keep the fire going. Okay? Yale's right. once he starts playing, then it'll be more about his play. But right now, there's buffer. You see, if he was in college, this would be a non-issue because you know why? 24/7, they got you monitored and they take care of you. Okay? Oh, Greasy brings up a point. Sad. Okay. Right. Well, if it's sad, everyone needs their space then. They don't need to be drilled in questions. Remember, the Philadelphia media is not a lawyer. He's just a dude with a pen. But he can make you into judge, jury, and executioner if you do stupid stuff. And that's what he's trying to do. He wants you to screw up. You understand that? Every media person wants you to screw up. And something that you say. Not something you do, but something you say. Okay? Because then they get the story. Okay? Just trust me when I tell you this. Get a bunch of people making all kinds of stupid shit and saying things. So, Jalen Carter, I hope he's smart here, and I hope people are keeping it. And I do believe the Eagles are doing a good job with this. Okay? I like, right? Okay, JM. Big Sills, the media is evil. I don't think they're evil. I don't think they're evil, but they have agendas. And sometimes it's perceived as evil. Everyone has an agenda, what they're trying to get done. Some of them want to be part of a story. Someone want to make a story up. Someone want they're just different. All of them are different. They're opportunists. That's better. Yeah. They're opportunists for sure. That's exactly what it is. And is that evil? You can define it any way you want. Okay? You can. All right. I want someone to explain something to me about Jonathan Gannon here. And I want someone to explain this to me about Kyler Murray. Wow. What an absolute train wreck before you get to training camp. This is ridiculous that you gave this guy this much money. Can you imagine if Jalen Hurts talked like this? So, the Cardinals are expected, according to Vegas, to have the worst record in the National Football League. They're picked to be the worst team in the league and have the least amount of wins. How can that be when you just gave a guy almost $50 million? I thought when you gave a quarterback $50 million, that made your team better. You gave Kyler Murray $50 million and your team is worse? I'll say this to you. In the NFC, look, I know he's hurt. But if you took Jalen Hurts off the Eagles right now for 6 weeks, what do you think the Eagle record would be in 6 weeks without Hurts? 3-3? 4-2? What do you think their record would be? Oh, it's no way. Not the teams they're playing, Tone. Oh, they're playing a tough schedule. Okay, fair enough. No, I think they could weather it. Now, are they going to beat significant teams without Jalen? Absolutely not. But do I think they could be 3-3? I do. Listen, and please don't take this in that I think Marcus Mariota could do the same job that Jalen. That's not what I'm saying. Marcus Mariota is not beating Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts is. Yeah, you can have Marcus Mariota against stiffs, but against those elite guys, you're not beating Aaron Rodgers with Marcus Mariota. Okay? He's beating Aaron Rodgers. So that's where here's my point. Even if you want to go here, Tone, 2-4. you're still going to survive to get yourself back into a position. The Cowboys survived last year when they lost Dak. They would survive. Okay? They got good players everywhere. So Kyler Murray is not there and the team's a train wreck. The team would be a train wreck whether he was there or not. And you know what he said on top of that? Yeah, I'll be coachable. Yeah, I'm going to listen. But if things aren't working, we all have to look in the mirror. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? What? So if you think things aren't going the way you want them, you're going to stop listening and being coached? Is that what you did last year? Whoa. And that's your mentality. That's not somebody I want as a face of my franchise. I'm sorry. I do not like that attitude at all. And even if you think it, you shouldn't be saying it publicly. That if this coach, in my opinion, doesn't know what he's doing, whether you think of Jonathan, you're giving your coach no chance of success. If this guy's not doing a good job, I'm not going to listen. Really? Whew. You got a bad character guy in Arizona. Yeah, you heard it. Kyler Murray is everything that Jalen Hurts isn't. And that is, he isn't a malcontent. He isn't a problem. He isn't a guy that's not going to listen. And he is coachable. Every single thing that Kyler Murray is, Jalen's not. And everything that Jalen is, Murray's not. And Murray may have all the more physical gifts. He exposes himself when he opens his mouth. Dude, so if you don't like the way shit's going, you're going to help get another coach fired? Who are you? Man, and you gave that guy $46 million. Why? You know what? I'd rather have Marcus Mariota as my quarterback in Arizona than him. I would. At least Marcus is going to try, be coached, and his teammates are going to like him. Arizona has a version of Carson Wentz. But the difference between Wentz and Murray says the things that Wentz wouldn't publicly, at least. But he was that guy too. Damn. I have never heard a player go, you know, we're going to have a look in the mirror if things aren't going well. And you haven't even shown up to training camp yet. They're not even in camp. When you pay a guy, you're not just paying for talent. You're paying for character. The Cardinals dropped the ball. They sure did. Dude, they have no shot. Jonathan Gannon would be fired. Or they'll have to make a decision on moving Murray. I would move him. Let him go back to the A's. I don't know. But he's not set up to be a pro football player. He's got a baseball mentality. He doesn't have a football mentality. He's more of a baseball guy. He thinks like a baseball guy and plays football. Okay? Because in theory, a baseball guy is more, when you're in the batter's box, it's you and no one else. It's like being, it's you and no one else. Your teammates can't help you. Nobody can help you. It's almost an individual sport when you're at the bat. When you're taking your 4 swings, it's an individual sport. It's pitcher and you. And it's inside of a team concept after that, when the ball, wherever it goes, to catch it, you don't catch it, you strike them out. It's an individual sport in many ways. And he's got an individual mentality. Because you can't have that. You're not even in training camp, and you're already putting it out there to the players in the locker room. Hey, guys, I'm kind of with you. So we're more of a front runner. Don't you want guys on your team, especially at that position, when shit hits the fan and you're in a foxhole and you guys got to dig out of it and you got to dig out of it together? You're all one for one and for each other. You got a guy in Arizona that's a quarterback of your team. Hey, when shit hits the fan, I'm not getting in that foxhole with you. You guys are going to have to go do it yourselves because I'm not going to get in that thing with you. That's who he is. Dude, I learned more listening to Kyler Murray. And listen, here's the difference, too. Both these guys, Oklahoma guys, right? And here's the difference, too. Jalen Hurts doesn't say shit. He's the most boring dude on the planet. We said the same shit about Brady. God, Brady never says anything. When he was in New England, he never said a thing. He wasn't even on social media in New England. Brady wasn't. He wasn't on social media. You had an alcoholic general manager in Steve Keim. You had a quarterback who hated Cliff Kingsbury at the end, got him fired after getting a contract extension the year previous. You remember that? Both Keim and Cliff Kingsbury got 3-year contract extensions. The Arizona Cardinals gave those guys 3 years. Then they fired him in the offseason. You talk about decision-making. Boy, I'll tell you something else about the Eagles right now. Do you know the Eagles beat people in just the way they do business, too? The Giants don't know what they're doing. The Cardinals don't know what they're doing. The Cowboys overpay and meddle. The 49ers don't have a quarterback and haven't figured that thing out in 5 years. The Eagles just sit back. You're right, guys. Maybe they don't have to have a spectacular defense because the one thing they don't do, they don't get in their way. And you know, the only thing that we talked about in the offseason, you want to hear the only thing we kind of talked about in the offseason that was kind of, raised an eyebrow, was Matt Patricia. And Matt Patricia's an asset because he's bringing knowledge to the staff that doesn't have a lot of knowledge. And we were talking about feelings and this and that. That's a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. And really, let's look at this. You're talking about whether or not Darius Slay likes Patricia and Patricia likes it. I mean, it's really a nothing burger when you look at the Giants situation and the Arizona Cardinals. Not that good to me. He can't even see the field. Like Hopkins asked him on the sideline, what are you seeing in open? Am I open? I mean, no, weapon. He doesn't see down the field because you know why? He's nervous of the pass rush. He's still getting, that's a trend with these quarterbacks from Oklahoma. And the only thing now that here's what separates Jalen from all these quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield. What do they all have in common? They're skittish of the rush. Hurts is not. I think that comes from the coaching he got at Bama. I don't think Lincoln Riley's that good a coach. Everybody's kissing his ass at USC. What's he ever won? Big 12 titles and blown out in Final Four games? Lincoln Riley's overrated. I don't see it. What has he produced? Has he ever produced a defensive football player in his entire 12 years at Oklahoma? Has he? Anyone? Name me a guy that he produced at OU on defense. Really? The beautiful thing about football is that none of these teams and organizations are I got it. They're individual humans pulling these strings, and you can't underestimate the value of having reliable people in the building. If you have incompetent people, no good can come from it. Absolutely, Tone. Absolutely. Okay? No organization is immune to having issues inside of it. But what you do have is problem solvers and people that see when things are going sideways, they're able to adjust immediately. That's the best thing the Eagles do. Wentz is not working. Move off him. Doug's not going down the process of what we want. I don't care what the success he is. And get this, nobody is bigger than the organization. From Carson Wentz to Doug Peterson. Nobody's bigger than the organization. That's not the cases in these other places. In business, there are problem makers and problems. That's right. Howie's a problem solver. Okay. Thoughts on Ringo and Ricks? You see them on 53? Oh, absolutely. Ringo, Ricks, I'm not sure of. Ringo, I am. Okay. Kyler Murray, but just look at the NFC itself. And here, look at teams. How many do you really think the Jets are going to do anything with all the noise they had this year? Not me. I don't think they make the playoffs. I don't see the Jets playoff team. Now, you add Dalvin Cook. Okay, you add Dalvin Cook, probably. But you don't put Cook in there? I don't know. The Jets got too much noise. How about the Bills? A lot of noise. You know why you got a lot of noise going on in Buffalo? Because they're not sure of the coordinator, Ken Dorsey. Cardinals will suffer with the decisions they made with Gannon and allow Murray to act the way he does. So that's what happened when you think you're smart. That's right. You know why they did that? You got to remember why they did that. Remember the history. The year before they got Kyler Murray, what did they do? They went into the draft and they fumbled the ball on Josh Rosen. And as soon as Kingsbury got in the building, he went, that's not the guy. He was right. They moved off him, traded him to Miami. They picked up Murray. Well, right out of the gate, they knew they had a problem with his behavior. He's a behavior problem. I think Kyler Murray's a behavior problem. And I also think he's a bad teammate. Unless you prove it to me, Kyler Murray, in my opinion, now I'll be accused of being a racist here, but I think Kyler Murray is a poor teammate. I don't think he's a very good teammate just by his actions and the way he talks. I mean, everything that a quarterback is, he's not. I have no faith in him. I have no faith in him as a leader. I have no faith in him as the face of my franchise. Absolutely no way. I just don't see it. He's gotten his coach, his general manager fired, and now he's coming out of the gate saying, if things aren't going right, I'm not listening, and you can't coach me. Dude, you're not even in training camp. You're 14 days out from camp, and you're telling everyone you're going to take a shit on them if you don't like the way things are going. Wow. That $46 million has gone to his head. He thinks he's better than anybody in the organization. But that's the Bidwell's fault. They made that happen. Little man syndrome, it's an entitlement attitude. The Cardinals don't do their homework. They don't do their homework in coaching. They don't do their homework in who they give their money to. Because nobody gives money to that guy. And what I would have did with him, I'd have franchise tagged his ass until he calmed down. I'd have broke his will. And I would have treated him that way. You don't like it? I don't give a shit. You're going to change. Or get this. Or we're going to make you into the most miserable human being because I'm not going to give you up for nobody. but I'm going to franchise tag your ass, make you miserable, you're underpaid, and if you don't like it, you can't do anything about it. And if you don't want to show up, I'll fine your ass. I will fine you every day you're not in camp. And then you can go play baseball. I'll eat the first round pick, but I'm not eating $46 million in face. That's how I treat that kid. You're not going to push my franchise around when you haven't done shit. Murray's bullied him. Tone, you're right. He's bullying him. Well, if I don't like Gannon, I'm not listening. Hey, dude, well, then watch what I'm doing. Too late now, though. Gave him the dough. Bro, I'll tell you what. Now that I know who he is, I wouldn't have a problem moving him in the offseason. Or now. I'm trading him at the trading deadline. But I'd have to wait until the offseason because I'd want to at least get some more draft picks. And what you don't want to do is, if you're the Cardinals right now, you don't want to kind of put dents in the car. You're trying to sell the car. So you probably eat crow until the offseason. And then once that guy's out of your building, then you take a gigantic shit on him. So you really can't kill him right now. But if that's me, I'm not letting him bully me around like that. And my new coach. Dude, we're all trying to get along here. I mean, the Eagles are just, they must just sit back. Just look at the business of the offseason. How do you think, probably really good offseason for Dallas because there wasn't a lot of noise. And they moved off of Zeke where they had to. 49ers, get this. What have the 49ers done in the offseason to address the quarterback position? It's July 13th. You got 11 days until camp. 14 days until camp. Here's what they've done. Sam Darnold, and they hope Purdy's healthy. And Purdy's not even a sure thing. Sam Darnold, and you're hoping that Brock Purdy can do it again. That's not addressing it. Shit, another team that did a good job this offseason, the Seahawks. Would it shock me if the Seahawks won the NFC West this year? No. No. Would it shock you if Carroll won the West? And they pulled the West out? I don't think so. Right? I mean, Seattle just might be the second best team in the NFC. I think Dallas is probably the second. I think Dallas is probably the second best team. No, hey, Maniac. They signed that defensive tackle. They did a good job in the draft. They got the linebacker back in the building. Gino had a good year. They're putting more talent around him. The kid Walker from a year ago also was a good find in the second round. The defense, they've added components on that side of the ball. I don't know. I don't think it's hey, you got a lot of stupid things in San Francisco with that quarterback deal. Okay? Would not shock me. So, I mean, you're listening to this in Arizona and you're like, wow, the Giants and their business decisions. Look at Lincoln Riley and the guys he has. Baker Mayfield can't handle pressure in the pocket. Kyler Murray can't handle pressure in the pocket. All undersized guys. Jalen's an outlier because he was first coached at Bama, and he's got balls. Those other guys, they're cowards in the pocket. And now you got this guy, Caleb Williams, being coached by him in a conference that's not that good. Like I told you this before, do you know between the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference, 65 in the SEC, 62 in the Big Ten players were drafted out of 280 some odd players. Think of that. Do you know how many players got drafted out of the Pac-12 this past year? 15. 15. It's the lowest number of players drafted in the Big Ten, out of the Pac-12 in 45 years. Nobody plays in that conference. So Caleb Williams, who are you playing against? Oregon State. Who else? Oregon, okay, good players. Utah, okay. UCLA, kind of. Stanford, no. Cal, no. Who? Like I said, Oregon, Washington, kind of. Washington State, no. Caleb Williams is being touted as this guy who's going to be like the best. I hear Coward because he's stumping for USC football. USC football will have a good record this year because they're in a shit conference. If USC played in the Southeastern Conference, if they played in the SEC, they'd be a 7-win team. Joe, really cool of you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, sir. If USC played in the Southeastern Conference, they'd be 7-8 wins. As a matter of fact, I put a list together for my preseason top 10. Let me throw this at you here. How many Big Ten teams? 1, 2, 3. How many SEC? 1, 2, 3, 4. So between those two conferences, 7 teams from 2 conferences are in the top 10. I got Georgia 1, Bama 2, Michigan 3, Ohio State 4. I don't know what they're doing at quarterback. I got FSU 5, LSU 6. Hey, look at LSU now sitting at 6. What does that tell you about Notre Dame? Brian Kelly had to leave Notre Dame. Why? Brian Kelly would never – whoever coaches Notre Dame will never win a national championship. Notre Dame will never win another national championship. Their days are over. It's over with. Notre Dame will not win. They can't win. They don't believe in redshirting. Their requirements are too high. And you know what they do? They get rival guys, sure. But most of those rival guys are qualifiers. There is a reason that Alabama has an 87% acceptance rate. Now, they don't accept everybody, but they do it for that reason so that they can get football players in there. And they don't take, anybody. But what they do is they open that up so that they can get players in there that maybe not the greatest players, put them on academic probation, get them in there, help them out, help them get a degree. That's why Bama and Georgia and LSU. Brian Kelly has a shot to win a national title now. He never would at Notre Dame. Notre Dame will never win again. It's right. It's Yale. It's Northwestern. It's Stanford. You can't win there. You don't get the best. Here, when Nick Saban and Kirby Smart are recruiting, say, 20 guys, they get those 20 guys. When Freeman at Notre Dame recruits 20 guys, he gets 4 of those 20. And then he's got to fill them in with mom's favorite alum, or, your buddy's alumni kid, or somebody from Chicago Catholic, somebody like that. And that's who they get in there. That's why they play. Look at the schedule. They can't even beat Marshall now. Look at the schedule Notre Dame plays today compared to what they played 25 years ago. They play Long Beach now. They're trying to just, because they know their name will get them into the Final Four, they'll get killed in it again. But Brian Kelly knew he will never win a national title at Notre Dame. It's great education. It's great school. It's all that. But as a football program, they played in the SEC, they'd win 3 games a year. Marshall beat them last year. Holy cow, Joe. I'm Philly 500's dad. I love Gabagool too. I love your show. Hope you can read. Oh my God. Hey, by the way, Joe, was that you sitting in the chair with the picture that your son sent? Okay. So here's one thing about Big Joe here. So Joe's got big sills on the big screen, and he's sitting there with some gabagool. Hey, Joe, so guess what I had before Hey, Joe, just before I came on and I was talking to everybody, you want to hear what I had? So I went in the refrigerator. My wife got some of our sauce she made the other day. It's Italian. It's one of the greatest sauces in the history of sauces. And she had some sausage in there. I cut 2 pieces of sausage up, Joe. I put it on a nice piece of bread. I had myself a sausage sandwich before I came on. Hey, that's what I had, dog. Thank you very much. Joe, it's an honor, man. I mean, anytime that we could get people and families watching the show, because that's kind of what it is, man. Hey, man. That's awesome, man. Holy cow. Wow, he really is Philly. Way to go, man. I love your kid. Your kid, hey, by the way, your kid's killing it on his stream show. All the subscriptions and all the people that check him out. He's a great personality. Hey, stupid, likable Sills doing nice stuff. Hey, JM. JM, I got a love-hate relationship with you. But then again, I got a love-hate relationship with my old lady, too. Okay? Yeah, hey, Maniac, I had some sausage. So I got some of my wife's sauce. It's unbelievable. My aunt and my grandmother perfected this thing. It's a homemade sauce. It's unbelievable. So I went in there, and it's like crack. And so I sliced it up. I put these 2 pieces of sausage, little ones are like that, and I put them on some bread. And there I am too. I'm dipping up the, God, I love it. It's good stuff, man. Really good.